The next statement we'll have a look at to terminate the processing of a block is the check statement. The check statement allows us to terminate a loop pass, just like the continue statement does, but it allows us to check certain conditions. We can use some sort of logic. So when we define our check statement and define the logic, if the condition is not true, any remaining statements in our current statement block after the check statement will be ignored, and the next loop pass will start, just as it did with the continue statement. The check statement is a little bit like a combination of the if statement and continue statement we used in the last exercise. Let's have a look at the code and see it in action. So here we have the do statement from our previous exercise. So let's edit this, and we will keep the do 15 times. I'll just take the breakpoint off for now so it looks a bit better. We will increment the variable a, and then we will say, instead of the if, check sy index not equal to 2. And then we will get rid of these two. So this will check to see if the sy index system variable does not equal the value of 2. And if that statement is true, it will carry on processing the code. If the statement is untrue, the write statement will not be executed because processing will jump straight to the top of the do statement again. Let's debug the code and see how it works. We will have a look at sy index and a, and then I'll press F5 to step through. So sy index has a value of 1 at the moment, so that's fine. We know that 1 is not the same as 2, so it will write out our statement to the screen. Our next run through, now this time sy index is equal to 2. So our statement is not correct. So it should terminate the processing of this loop and go straight back to the top. Let's have a look. I'll press F5. There we go. It jumps straight to the top of the loop. Now it's equal to 3, so it should execute the write statement. And it does, and so on. So it should execute it 15 times. I'll press F8 to zoom. And there we go. Process 15 times, but missing the second write statement. So it's very similar to using the if and continue statements in the last exercise, but we can do it with just one line of code. And when you are looking at programs that have been created by other people, and maybe creating programs yourself further down the line, don't be surprised to see the check statement outside of loops like the do loop or the while loop. Because the check statement doesn't only terminate an individual loop run or loop pass, but it can also be used to check other processing blocks, like subroutines or events. When the check statement is executed, it all depends at what level in your program it is being executed. If our check statement was outside of this loop, then it would actually terminate our program. If it was inside another processing block, maybe the @screen selection processing block, well, it would terminate that block of code. So you can use the check statement wherever you like. Just be aware of where you're using it, because that will have a big impact on the processing of your code. Let's have a quick example here. Let's stick the check statement outside this loop and just see it in practice on how it will terminate our program. Create a few blank lines. I'm going to stick that asterisk there, so we've always got a few blank lines for us. And all I'm going to do is write a brand new check statement here. So check, and we'll say, we'll check the value of A. So we're going to check the value of a is equal to 1. Now of course, we can see here we're setting the value of a to 0. So this is never going to be true, which means it's not going to process the rest of our code. Let's activate it. We'll stick a breakpoint. Well, let's get rid of this one first. Stick a breakpoint here. So we'll set the value of a to 0. And now we'll do the check statement. And the program ends. So as soon as it hit the check statement and the value was not true, the check statement caused processing of our code to step out of the current block, which in this case was the program itself.